Interesting, Jim. Trading Nation's got a great hit on our website today that Wells Fargo says don't rule out a 10-year at 2.25 by year end, and that their view is generally that Powell is not going to step in front of that to slow it down all that much, at least in their view.
Well, look, 2.25 again, when you're watching what's going to be happening this morning with Lennar, which had a great quarter. 2.25 does not make it so that you have a prohibitive rate. I think there were some people who would say, you know what? I mean, the housing start numbers were weak today, and I know Diana had some great stuff on it. But what I would come back and say what's really important is that there is a shortage of housing, but there's no shortage of buyers. And if they can ever make enough houses, and they do have gross margins going up, which means prices are going up, lumber's going up, I think we'll be fine. I mean, David, when you go to buy a house, it is still not anything like when we got in the business. I mean, it's still a 3.5. It's a 3.5.
Right.
And you got to put a lot of money down, so it's not like 2007, 2008.
No, there's fairly rigorous due diligence still these days. You actually have to tell them what you make and keep giving them paycheck stubs and things of that nature, yeah.
Yeah, so I just think that the Fed can let those rates go a little bit higher. Mm-hmm. But what I do worry about are the people, the journalists in the audience, who are going to hound him. They're going to pound him over and over again about the boom. The boom, the boom.
Well, he's in a tough spot, right? Because, you know, if he's less dovish, that has certain implications, but he's in a tough spot.
But how about last year? Was he in a tough spot when he came on?
He's always in.
He's always in a tough spot.
He's right. It's not as though he hasn't thought through very carefully exactly what his words are going to be and what he's going to use in terms of his adjectives and verbs and everything else.
Carl, I parsed everything he had to say last year at this time, including word for word what he said in an amazing interview with Savannah Guthrie in the Today Show. This guy, I mean, was basically saying the Fed doesn't run out of ammo. This guy is so practiced. I mean, he is Olivier. You know, I used to listen to the Olivier records, King Henry IV, Part 1 and 2. Of
course.
He always said the same thing exactly. Well, of course, it was a record. Well, we've got a record Fed. A broken record Fed. And if he just keeps saying it, they will eventually, they'll say uncle. The journalists will say uncle, and they'll go on to talk about how cocoa's not going up, but that's what they're going to do. And he never is off message. He is so good that you don't want to watch him. He's Olivier. David, Olivier was a famous actor.
I'm actually aware of Sir Lawrence, yeah. Thank you for that, yes. And, of course, I know one of Carl's favorite movies, I think, is Marathon Man. I think so, because he's mentioned it all the time.
Is it safe?
Is it safe?
Yeah.
Is it safe? No. Yeah. Yes.
Book's
no,
good,
it's very dangerous.
One of the greatest scenes.
Goldman, right? William Goldman, yep.
But they're going to try,
that's
Carl.
Right. That's
they're
right.
going to try. They are just going to be relentless. It's like, Mr. Chairman, isn't it true that the price of plastics are up very big, and wood is up very big, and oil's up very? What say you, sir? And he will say, I have looked at the situation, and when I think it's necessary, I will raise rates.
All right, so what does it all mean for growth stocks, for technology names that are getting beaten up, for SPACs that are back to their redeem price?
Well, they go down first because the older people recognize the linkage.
Okay.
And, David, then the younger people come in and say, what's the bond market?
Right.
And they have the firepower, and don't forget they're getting checks. And do they say what the 10-year is? David, they don't know what the 10-year is. The 10-year. What are they talking about?
They're working on it.
The 10-year?
Give them time.
What's the 10-year have to do with the price of lucid?
They're working on it. You're right. You're right. Nothing as far as
10-year Betsy Cohen?
Yeah.
Hey, Techno, Toro, El Toro.
El Toro.
El Toro.
Toro.
El Toro. Toro. Right. I mean, come on. We know, Dave, what do we know about these younger buyers? They don't look at the bond market. Now, should they? Yes, because of this big stream.
They go back and forth in the apps on their phone between sports betting and playing the market.
Well, and Kathy Wood, Diamond Hands, and GameStop. Mm-hmm. And then you come along with this incredibly large multi-trillion-dollar market that has historically linked to stocks.
Right.
And you're old. You're a boomer.
Practically, you are a boomer.
I'm the ground zero of the boomer.
I know.
But I am not kidding. These people do not link. So they look at this and they say, Carl, oh, things are on sale because, I don't know, they're on sale.
Some guy named Powell.
Yeah, Powell. Yeah, Jay Powell. I saw that on yesterday.
Remember Boog Powell? See, that's how old I am.
Boom Powell.
Boog Powell.
Yes.
See, first baseman, Baltimore, I think. Yeah.
Well, but Carl, they come in and buy, and they buy their faves. And if Kathy Wood comes in and buys Tesla, hey, she's been buying some crazy stuff. I don't know if you guys been watching yesterday. What she's coming in and buying, whatever's down.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.